Welcome everyone to another episode of Sunday Learnings with me, Ben Ibrahim. Thank you for your support thus far. And as you can see, I've got a very friendly guest on screen. Usually on Sunday Learnings, we've been talking about sport and a particular topic in sport, but today it's an actors series. And I'm talking to a very talented actor. When I say talented, this man can act. He's a stuntman and he's a martial arts choreographer. I'm talking to the one and only Jeremy Marinas, who is Filipino by birth, but he grew up in America, and straight after high school, he went to ninja school. And then the path of acting started right there. But we'll get into that with Jeremy in a minute. Jeremy, how are you and where are you?
Hey Ben, how's it going? I'm out in Toronto, Canada right now, getting ready for a project.
Now, acting, stuntman, martial arts dude, how
Okay.
did it? I said, where did this dream start?
As every other stuntman would say, watching Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Ninja Turtles, kind of the same story, but I guess I just worked really hard as a kid, and I always said one day, I didn't think it was obtainable, the dream, but when I was 12 or something, I was like, I want to do one movie before I die, one movie, that's it, and here I am. So tick, tick, tick.
Your parents being pure Filipino, what did they say when you said, Mom, Dad, I'm gonna go to Hollywood?
My dad said, "What are you still doing here?" And he kind of knew by that point. By the time I actually said it, he was kind of like, "Yeah, I don't know why you're still here. I'm surprised." And my mom was, very worried. I would really like you to go to college, and but she knew at the same time she couldn't control me, so she kind of came to terms with it really quick, and they were actually really supportive when I went. My dad really wanted me to follow in his footsteps and be in the military and then become a police officer. Actually, my mom didn't. She, my mom in the Philippines, she actually sang a lot. Like, she comes from a long line of performers, so she was like, if I didn't move to America, I probably would be a singer in the Philippines. Like, oh wow. And so I guess when I came around, it was their kind of chance to live vicariously through me. And they're like, go with it. You got something, just go. And my grandma was the one that was very you should do this, you should do that. She's very, she didn't like karate. She's like, stop karate, you should do ice skating. So she was a big Chris Yamaguchi fan. When I was like 10, she enrolled me in ice skating, and that was really easy for me. And I just lost interest. I was like, I'm out. I want to kick people in the head.
After high school, you went to ninja school, martial arts school, and then how did that path of acting start? And then how did that lead to that first big break, which every entertainer looks for?
I was fortunate enough to be seeked out by the team that I represent, which is 8711. They were auditioning people for that movie Ninja Assassin to double Rain. And they knew my friend through the martial arts tournament circuit, who was like a 6'2" Asian guy who could flip around. And so they put me, or I was in his audition video. They had no idea who I was. And so when they reviewed his audition tape, John Valera, who's one of my biggest mentors right now, actually the guy I used to watch compete when I was 10 years old, he recognized me because I used to compete against his student. So when Chad Stahelski, the owner of the company, he said, who's that kid? And John was like, I think that kid used to compete against my kid. He's like, well, bring him over here. And I was only 17 at the time. So I came to LA. They kind of put me through like a 2-week hazing period. And then they said, look, you're still too young. I can't be hitting you with cars or flying you through the air without your parents' consent. So go home, train for a year. And when we come back from this film and you turn 18, you come over to LA and we'll see what you got. So I said, well, what's the date you guys land back in LA? And I got that date, and I said, I'm coming. And I came over, and I didn't know anybody in LA at the time. So I'm a very prideful person too. I don't like to ask for help. So the people that I knew, I never knew enough to ask for anything. So I put all my stuff in my car, and me and my best friend Anis Sherpa, at the time we just drove down to LA together. He had a girlfriend in LA already, so he kind of stayed with her, and then I slept in my car in the parking lot of 8711 for quite some time actually. I think at least 4 months I was in my car alone. Um, and I would go into the bathroom as soon as they opened the doors, and I would shower in the sink, and I would try to keep it a secret. And then one morning I got a knock on my window, and this guy with glasses, let's say Neo from the Matrix, because it was Chad Stahelski who was standing outside my window. And I opened the door. I said, "Morning, sir." He goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" I said, "I'm sleeping." And he's like, "Do you know where we are? Because our location in LA is a little bit on the sketchy side." And I was like, "Yeah, we're in Inglewood." He's like, "You don't have a family to stay at?" No. So 4 months into that, he gave me a key, and he said, "Your only job is now to train. That's it." He's like, "I don't care what you do, you just train." And I said, I said, I don't have any money. He said, "You train and you don't take stunt jobs unless I approve." So for a year, I wasn't allowed to take stunt jobs. And I said, "How do I make money, sir?" He said, "That's not my fucking problem." He just walks away. And
Tough love.
yeah. So that's when I actually, my first week at in LA is when I met John Chu. And I did a little YouTube video that he did for the elections back then. It was Obama, and we had to pick a side, and we had to dance for their side and do flips. And that's how I met John Chu and Harry Shum and Chris Scott, who's their main choreographer. And that's how I got my ties in with them. So during my ninja training, I would go off and do a day or two shoot here and there with John Chu. We did like live performances for TED Talks, the Oscars, the Ellen Show, and that's how I was getting clothes, because I didn't have money for clothes. So we were sponsored by Puma and Nike. We would just get free clothes, and then on the off hours, I would work at Johnny Rockets in a shopping complex called the Grove. And so I did that for about a year. Until finally Chad put me on my first movie, and that was The Expendables.
Wow, with Sylvester Stallone and all those guys?
Yeah, and I got to meet Jet Li. So that was my first, to me, that was like meeting one of my childhood heroes, So yeah, that was huge. And every one of my dad's childhood heroes, because it was Stallone, Dolph Lundgren, Sylvester, not Sylvester, Arnold.
Yeah.
Scott Adkins I met on the second one, which was a cool one too. I got to meet, Van Damme. So it was just the craziest introduction to stunts.
If you look at your resume, it's pretty impressive. I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Marvel movies, Birds of a Prey, like you said, The Expendables. Where I'm getting with this is you're surrounded by very, very talented actors. Margot Robbie, Will Smith, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Dolph Lundgren, Agent Coulson. I mean, what do you learn from these people? Not just from the acting perspective, but the creative perspective that makes you a better entertainer.
You can be the funnest guy in the room as long as you're the hardest working guy in the room. And that's the thing I pick up from the biggest, greatest. Like on Gemini Man, I couldn't stop laughing with Will Smith. There was not a minute where I couldn't stop laughing. But as soon as they yelled, cut or action, boom, he went to work. But then, and then we'd be in a serious situation, work. And then he'd hit us with a joke and we're laughing again. And for a long time in the movie industry, it was very, I mean, still is. You only do your job, shut up, only speak when you're spoken to, keep quiet. But I've found you can find a way to have fun and be at work at the same time. And it doesn't have to be serious because we're not curing cancer. We're just making entertainment. So I've learned how to enjoy it while being under a lot of pressure. This goal was always that I wanted to do second unit directing by the time I was 35.
Okay.
So the idea was I want to be the hardest worker in the room. So I want to be able to do everything that I was able to do when I was 25, maybe less of the flips, but I should be able to perform any task a stunt person could perform at 35, 40, but not have to. So when I hit 35, I want to be able to say, hey, I could still do all of that stuff, and I don't have to unless I want to.
And what did you learn from Bigani and Sylvester Stallone? I mean, two veterans of the industry, especially in the action movie hero scene.
Yeah, you don't stop until the bell rings. That's what I learned. These guys were, they're between takes. They were fixing their shoulders, and even Donnie Yen. I remember when I was helping Donnie Yen put on a knee pad, and he was like, in his hotel room putting on his knee pad, struggling to get his pants off to put his knee on. And there are these older guys like that generation. They're always broken. And I said, I learned like, wow, there's a whole generation that just doesn't stop until they're broken. And yeah, it's just so admirable. I don't even know if I've learned that level of nonstop badassery.
So your journey towards the Expendables, I mean, it was really an expendable journey, like, from being in the car, like having a shower in, a really small bathroom to an opportunity comes knocking. I mean, what did you learn from all that?
On our Instagrams, you see the flipping and the karate and the martial arts. And then you don't realize that your brain is going to get tested mentally over and over. If you're going to get hit by a car, flown through the air, slammed into the wall, set on fire, thrown down the stairs, you don't know, like, and it all sounds really fun until you get there to the moment, because there's a lot of people who will say, yes, I'll do the job. And then they show up to the job and they're like, nope. Either, something gets in their head, or maybe they just think there's something that was overlooked safety-wise and they're not comfortable. So it's definitely more of a test of your mental ability than actual the physicality of it.
Before we go, rapid fire questions.
Uh-oh.
First question, favorite food?
Kare, Filipino dish.
Still got the Filipino roots then. Favorite car? Money is not an obstacle.
Just an old school Porsche, like a old school 911, like 76.
Okay. What would you do with $10? Don't worry about the currency. What would you do with $10 in your pocket?
In my pocket?
Yeah.
Probably leave it there until somebody else needs it more than I do.
Favorite holiday spot?
Oh, holiday sport? There's
spot.
Favorite holiday spot. Got it. Just I think at home. I think at home. I'm traveling too much, so at home is my favorite spot on the holidays.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Ooh. I'm rewatching a lot of old ones, but I really like Inglourious Basterds. It's a big one that I like.
Yeah. Favorite actor and actress?
Ooh, man, that's a tough one. Leonardo DiCaprio in for our time, and Margot Robbie. I would have to say, just after working with her, I've never worked with Leo, so he's one that I would love to work with. But Margot, on and off set, a gem, a sweetheart, fun time all the time, and always looks out for her casting crew.
And the last question, you're single. You see a beautiful Margot Robbie lookalike in a restaurant, in a function, at a bar. What's your opening pickup line? And it has to be classy.
My opening pickup line.
Oh, conversation starter.
I usually just walk over there and I slip and fall really hard on the floor and I make them have to talk to me. And then they
You're a stuntman, man. You're a stuntman. Even in romance.
Are you okay? I am now. Boom.
Okay, kids, don't try that at home. Do try that
At a bar.
at a bar. All right, thanks, man. We'll catch up with you soon. Yeah, you stay safe.
All right, man. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Take care.
Spaghetti and the marshmallows.